Hi there and welcome. Before we start, I wanted to go over what we're going to make in this video. We're going to be creating this little journal slash gift card holder, and it's all made out of one piece of paper, which is pretty cool. So inside here you have a flap, it has a pocket. We've got a signature here with some journaling pages, a second signature, and then a little pocket here where you can tuck in some other goodies. So we're going to actually create this one here, and the cover of this is actually a little booklet that I made in a course I did called Booklet Bundles of Joy. So this is just an embellishment. We're not going to create this little booklet, but we are going to make this main book here. And then I have a second sample I wanted to show you because it is in the photographs. This is a second version of this one where I added some sari ribbon to the spine rather than here at the top on a clip. And then I took a small piece of cardboard and I collaged it. I rubbed a little sandpaper on the edges and then I adhered it right to the corner of the booklet just to add a little extra to it. But you could actually do these where you didn't even put embellishments on them at all, which I really like. I love the way the black and white paper looks. So this is what we're going to actually be doing in this tutorial. Have fun. Now the paper that we're using is a sketch pad paper. It's actually very inexpensive. This one is 18 by 24. So that's the size of this one. It's by Canson. And what I do to prepare those pages is I use everything from paintbrushes to my fingers to spatulas to handmade brushes. And I use black ink, black acrylic paint, anything that's black, crayons, pencils, all of it. And then I create these background papers. And then here's a couple of the handmade brushes that I've made to actually get a very unique look when you're creating the backgrounds and making marks. So I create a whole bunch of these and I keep them on hand for projects just like this, projects like collage or just layering them on my journal pages, anything like that. So you discover what works for you, but this is the size paper that I'm using to create this little booklet, and it's 18 by 24. I'm not going to actually demo this part because it takes a little while to get this done, but basically I'm going to start with one of these pieces of paper. Now, you can make your little mini journal any size you want, but I'm going to use this paper I'm going to fold it in thirds. So whatever is roughly 3 pieces that are roughly the same size. I think that's about right. And then I'm just going to fold the other one over just to get that line. It doesn't have to be perfect, but basically you're just giving it, you're folding it in 3s. So I've got. All right, now you can tear this extra piece off or you can cut it. It's completely up to you what you want to do. And then save this extra piece. We will be using part of that. All right, so now we have our paper. Okay, so we're gonna fold it this way now to where the painted part is facing out. And again, it doesn't have to be super perfect. And now we're gonna do some more folding. So we're going to fold it in half. And I can't really give you an exact measurement on this part, but you want to make it to where it's really close to where you've folded it. And I think that's about right. And then it makes it really easy to do the rest of them. And I'm a little off, but that's okay. All right, so now we've got this little stack here. And this is where I kind of decide which part is going to be the outside and the inside, because this is what it will look like as the little book. So I've got that. I really like both of those. Or you can turn it over and do it this way and see which one we like best. to be the outside of our book. And I can already tell I like the other way better. So that's the one I'm going to work with. So basically, these two ends are going to fold into the middle, and then it closes. So yeah, I think this is the best one. I really like that. So maybe I'll keep that one as the back. I don't know. But anyway, okay, so that's what you do. Just go ahead and fold, cut, and then work these into sections. And I think, let's see how many sections that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6. So half, and then there's going to be the 2 folds on each end. And then, like I said, save the paper here. And then we're going to set this aside, and we're going to gather some papers from your painted paper stash. If you want this to reflect some color, then this is what you will do. Or if you want to use the black and white, you can use the black and white. But I think, I haven't decided yet if I'm going to add some color or if I want to stick with the black and white. So let me show you what we're going to do, and then you can decide. Now, this is where we're going to create the pocket for the gift card. And again, if you want to keep your book, at least at this point, black and white, then you'll want to use a piece of this paper. All right, the next step now is to create the pocket where our gift card will slide into. And the way that this is going to work is this flap right here is going to be where the card goes. And so it won't open or close, it's going to be stationary. But we need to create the little pocket. So you can use black and white paper that matches, or if you wanted to incorporate some color, you could just use some pieces from your stash. I just grab a bunch of different painted papers and decide what I want to use. But to demonstrate this, I'm just using a piece of book paper so that you can see the difference between, if I was using the black and white, it wouldn't show up quite as well. So I've just torn this piece, and you'll see after I do this how you might want to adjust it. And I leave just a little bit of room down here at the bottom. So I fold this up, right? And then the flap is closed like this. And then this will go underneath it. And so now we have a pocket for our card. And then this will all be glued down. So this will be the flap, just like this, and it'll open and close. So you have this option here if you wanted to use the black and white paper to make it consistent, or if you wanted to pull in some color, you could do something painted. And so what it will look like, if you make it a little bit longer, then it can, you can pull it all the way around. It's however you want. If you want to tear a piece of it and maybe just have it be like that and it'll glue down, you can do that. If you do the black and white, it probably would be fine. And then I was thinking this would be a nice place to put another pocket in a different way. So we could do a pocket like this, and then we could slide some things in there too. So that's another option. All right, so I've got this pocket finished, and so it's going to close like that. And I like the black and white because it blends. It's really hard to see the difference if we had used color. And I did make one with some color so you can see the difference. This one is a piece that I did instead of the black and white. I went with a piece of color. And so you can see it adds a pop to it. So it's definitely optional if you want to do it that way. So just consider, you know, what you want it to look like. So now the next thing is going to be to gather up all your papers, all the papers that you have in your stash to create pages. You probably already have some created. I've already got a stack done, so I'm just going to show you. Basically, you want it to be about the size of the height, and you don't want it to be any wider because it's going to end up being stitched right into this area here. So you just want to make sure that it's wide enough. So just measure, because your book's going to be a little bit different. Let's see. This one looks like it might even be a little wider than that other one. So it's going to be snug, but just make sure that they're not too wide. I might need to trim these a little bit. And I just used an assortment. I used some more of the black and white from this the piece that we cut, and just different handmade papers, some eco papers, vellum, envelopes, magazine papers, just whatever you have that you want to use to create the little journal that's going to go in here. So we're going to create a signature. And you can, this one's a little bit, this is not quite as fat, as thick. So I'm going to see what that one feels like. This one might be a better option. Yeah, it's not quite as thick, but yeah, I might need to take a couple papers out of there. So you want to go ahead and you can have as many as you want, but just remember that it's going to be fitted in here, and you want to make sure that it will close. And I was even thinking you could do a third one or a second one in here in this section. I probably won't do that because it'll really make it thick, but I don't know. I kind of like it. Makes it even juicier. Maybe I will put that in there. So you do have an option. You can put a signature here, and then we can do one here. That'll close, and then that'll close. So you decide. So go ahead and gather up some papers and create your signatures, and then we'll stitch this in. I'm using wax linen thread, and I have a bookbinder's needle, and I generally will do 3 times whatever the height of it is. And then I've got a couple clips here. I don't generally measure when I do this. I keep it quite simple, and I just want to make sure everything is nested here. And then this is going to be going into this part of the book right here. So I'm just going to put a clip here. And I think to make this easier, I'm going to put that here and that there. All right, so it'll be easier to sew that than having that there. Okay, so it's in the center. And I'm going to put a clip up here, and then a clip right there, a clothespin. It can be a binder clip, a clip, whatever works for you. All right. And then I have an awl, and we're going to do a 3-hole. I'm just going to poke a hole in the very center, and then gently push and turn so it comes out the other side. And you can, if you want to, you can even put the needle through there. And then I do a 2nd and 3rd hole. So the second one will be right up here at the top, come in about 1 inch or so. And then once again, we're going to close it and gently push. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other end. You don't have to put your needle in there. I just put it in there to keep it in position. All right, so the next one is down here at the bottom. So I'm going to do the same thing. We're just going to give it poke and close gently, and gently push, and just be careful not to poke yourself. Okay, so now we're going to start in the center, in the middle, and we're going to pull this through, and we're going to leave some of that here in the center. Now we're going to come up through this hole here. So if you need to turn it to see it, and sometimes this is where my messy stitching process can sometimes mean I have to refine that hole, but that's okay. It doesn't take much. Doesn't take much to do that. Okay, so now we're here. And you always want to pull in the direction that you're stitching. So I'm going to gently pull that. And now we're going to bypass this center, and we're going to go down into this other one here that we poked and come out the other side. Okay, now we're going to come back in the center. And you can move these now. And we're going to come back in through this hole. And it's probably, your stitching's probably a little loose, but you can adjust as you pull this through. So this stitch was coming from here, so I'm going to move it over here. This one is on this side. And you can see how loose this is here. We want to tighten that. And I have a tail here on this side, and then I have a tail on the other side of this center. So we're going to go ahead and gently pull, and now we can tie it. So let's just tie it once, and again in what would be like a double knot. And you can trim these to the length that you want. Okay, so now we have our little journal stitched in to this part of our book. I think maybe doing another one would be kind of fun right there. Let's see. Definitely will make it chunky. So if you want to add another one, you can add another one right into this section here. I think what we'll do first though is I'm gonna make this a little pocket. And I was thinking that a little vellum envelope, maybe with some little goodies in it, would be nice. That could be slid right in here, or anything really could be placed into that. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these flaps here down so that they stay in place, because we don't want them flopping around. So let's go ahead. I just folded those over, and now we will glue them down. I could probably cut them just as well. Let's go ahead and glue these into place. Okay, and so now those are secured in there. So once this is glued here, we're just going to secure the flap so that we can put our little envelope in there. If you wanted to do that, you could put any kind of, you could put a bunch of papers in there, but I like the idea of the little vellum envelope. And then that way you can tuck some goodies in there. So we're going to use the same idea here that we used before to add. I'm just going to fold this so I can get an idea of what I want here. Yeah. Very much like we did for the other pocket. We're going to do the very same thing, pretty much. Okay, so now we have our little pocket here, and you wouldn't want to probably make it too, whatever you slide in there, not too thick, but it'll hold in because this is going to be closed like that. So that will secure that fairly well. All right, so the last thing is I'm going to go ahead and put in another little signature, and I'm going to sew it right into here, just like we did with this one. Same thing, 3-hole pamphlet stitch. And this one has a little less paper in it, so I think this one it'll help make this not too, of course, I just adore how thick it is. All right, so if you want to do another one, you can do another signature into this part of the flap. All right, now our second signature is in, and I did put I put some scraps of bits of paper in that little glassine envelope and just stuck that in there. So we've got this signature, so it will close like that. And I love this nice little bundle. It feels really nice, the paper painted, and I think it looks really special. All right, so go ahead and stitch in your signatures, and I love how when you open this, you have the pops of color on the inside. The last step is embellishing the booklet. You can leave it plain if you want, or earlier I showed the example where I had just threaded in some sari ribbon and tied it off. And actually this looks really pretty because it's very colorful against the black and white. But for this one, I'm going to take a clip. It's just a little metal clip, and I've added some ribbon into it. I've tied the ribbon into it. And I thought this would look really pretty on the top of it. So I'm going to open up the book, and then this is the cover. So I'm going to slide that on like that. And now it's on the cover. And then I was looking through my stash and I was thinking, what could I put on here? Just something maybe clipped underneath. And I went back to a stash of some of my little booklet bundles of joy. This was a course I did a few years ago as part of the 100-day project. And I have a lot of little things that I could use. And I thought these would be kind of fun. Maybe I could tear some of these out, or look at some of these, and maybe I could figure out a way to make these work. But this one really caught my eye because it's small enough, and it opens up and it's got some little tear sheets in it. And I thought this would look really cute tucked underneath that clip. So I'm going to put that under here, and I think that works because it adds some color, and then the ribbons match. And I thought this would be the perfect way to embellish the front of it. And of course, again, you don't have to, but I think it looks really nice with this added color. And again, you could go with the option of adding it to the spine as well. And as I mentioned in the intro of the video, I did a second one. And this one, I took a piece of cardboard, I glued on some collage elements, and then I lightly sanded the edges, and then I just glued it on. So super easy. And then I added the ribbon to the spine. So that's it. I hope you enjoy making these yourself. Again, you don't even have to put a card in here. This could be a little pocket for other little goodies or whatnot. And if you make some, please tag me and let me know. If you're on Instagram, I'd love to see the ones that you create. All right, have fun.